call this meeting of the Palmyra Borough Council to order. Everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence for the armed services.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Brenda, may we please have roll call?
Counselor Andrews, absent. Counselor Catalani,
Here.
Counselor Fliegel. Here. Counselor Morley.
Here.
Counselor Rydell.
Here.
Counselor Touche.
Here.
Counselor Shear.
Here.
Mayor Miller.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay. Just a reminder that please silence all cellular devices during the meeting. Council members, please turn on your microphones if you haven't already. And finally, Borough Council held an executive session prior to this evening's meeting to discuss personnel issues as permitted by the Pennsylvania Sunshine Act. Any official action resulting from the executive session will occur during a public meeting. No special visitors, which takes us to public comment period number 1. Please step to the microphone, state your name and address for the record, and try to limit your comments to 5 minutes.
I'm here to discuss many of the things.
Name and address, please. Name and address
333 East Main Street, Palmyra.
and your name.
William Zayers.
Thank you.
First thing is what I'd like to discuss is, I don't know if we got a new driver in our ambulance service or what, but they're going by my house 60, 70 mile an hour. This is ridiculous. If anybody pulls out, it won't be saving one life, it'll be saving 2 or 3 or 4, whoever they hit. That ambulance is traveling way over our safe speed. And the second thing is we can't even open our windows on Main Street because we're having motorcycle gangs or groups coming down through town, revving the motorcycles up till they're up against the red limiters. You can hear them backfiring it because they're against the red limiters and that. And the cars, the little cars with the loud mufflers, we're having that too. They seem to come from up above Babes, and they think it's a drag strip down past our place that way, going out of town. And something needs to be done to start curbing this noise down. And that we could actually open our windows and air our house out. Because in our house, it just blares through the house the way it is. That's the 2 main things that I brought up, I wanted to come up and discuss.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody else for public comment? No? Okay. All right. Closing public comment period number 1. Moving on to the consent calendar. Approve the minutes of the April 22nd, 2025 Borough Council meeting.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? To action and discussion items. Personnel, discussion on and if appropriate, suggested motion to approve a 3-day suspension without pay for employee number 9975 for violating the borough's policies and procedures manual regarding the proper use of borough-owned vehicles and equipment.
Motion.
I'll second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. That takes us to discussing the possible zoning ordinance amendment concerning the electronic skill games.
Beth. So, in light of our solicitor's input, read an emails and stuff, I'd like to move that we conclude the discussion on the zoning ordinance amendment for electronic skill games terminals, instead consider the revised business regulation ordinance I prepared and gave to everyone when I got in here tonight.
Say that again?
It's a proposed business regulation ordinance. It does not involve zoning, MCP. It actually works down through or it's something that we can actually do. The ordinance regulates terminal operation.
This is the new
Yes, that's the new pack.
Thank you.
And if everybody's okay with that, I would move that we move it on to the solicitor for formal review.
Can we, I mean, it's a lot to
Yeah.
read, so can we read and vote on moving it forward next?
Yeah.
Yeah, if that's, we wanna do it.
Great, so can we put this on to vote on this for the next meeting? So everyone read this for the next meeting, okay? Which is May 27th. Okay. All right. Takes us to President's Report. Just a reminder, the Memorial Day Parade is Monday, May 26th. If you have not already responded to Brana, email her and get back to her if you're going to be planning on being in the parade, council members and mayor.
Oh, definitely will be in that parade.
Other than that, I don't have anything, which takes us to the mayor's report.
Yep, hi there. Well, it's raining out, and sometimes that can look a little, but then what it does is it waters plants, sun comes out, shines on them, plants grow up, makes the town look great. So I'm always happy about that. So sometimes you might see something looks a little bit down, but with followed by sun, helps with the plants, and we got a great little town. So let's try to make it and hope God keeps on putting it out so we have a nice place. That's all I got.
All right, moving on to the financial report. Everybody has the financial statement financial statement as of April 30th. I always read that wrong. As of April 30th will be available at the next meeting on May 27th. Detailed the delinquent sewer and refuse account report. Brenda.
I see it's still going down.
Looks good.
Keeps getting better.
Any questions, comments? Okay. Thank you, girls, as always. All right, that takes us to fire department and EMS report. Okay. All right, the April Citizens Fire Company number 1 monthly report was emailed on May 6th. Any questions about that? No? Guys okay? Okay. All right, and then we have the March Lifeline Monthly EMS Report. Ambulance 48 is 100% staffed, and 49 did more than 270 hours. So, any questions on that report? Okay. All right. Next up, Western Lebanon County Regional Police Department. Chief.
Nothing, unless you guys have anything.
Anybody have anything for Chief? Okay. Everybody's quiet tonight. Planning Commission. Roger.
We had a lot add-on change plan for 519 North Lincoln Street for David and Elaine Thompson. And the plan surveyor that got it prepared, the plan is here to answer any of your questions. But the Planning Commission did grant conditional plan approval and has made a recommendation for you to do the same, so.
Does anybody have any questions?
No, and Route 2's always steered us correctly, so.
All right, so, discussion on and if appropriate. Suggested motion to grant conditional plan approval contingent on all comments in the Route 2 review letter dated March 24th, 2025 being satisfied.
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, next scheduled meeting, Planning Commission, is Wednesday, May 28th, 2025, beginning at 7 PM. Which takes us to Public Works. Everybody has the superintendent's monthly report in their packet, or should. Any questions on that report?
It's very detailed, thank you. Thank you,
He
thank
did
Elijah.
this.
Thank Elijah.
Yeah, he did this. The only thing I did was capitalize the street names.
Oh, thank you for bringing that anyway.
Roger, the payloader, did it get fixed yet, or is it still being fixed?
It's fixed and it is back.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, that takes us to Borough Properties.
Okay. Nothing really to report on any of our properties. The clock has been running, as you notice, it's been a long time, but we do have the time reset now, and it looks like it's going pretty good, so hopefully it'll keep going. Yeah. Cemetery, we had gotten some prices for, there's a broken window there, and there's some other stuff that never got finished with some soffit and fascia. And Brenda reached out to Kiefer Roofing here in town about window options to replace, and he had various recommendations for different windows. A plain Jane window was the cheapest at $750
Really?
each. There's-
Plain Jane?
There's two, sorry. Guess that was a poor choice of words. But we do have tempered glass at Memorial Park. So I didn't know if that was something that council wanted to spend the additional money for to,
I have a question.
How often, I'm sorry, go ahead.
What is the difference between obscure glass, tempered glass, and laminated glass?
obscure glass is kind of, I don't know, it's like a frosted,
frosted,
so you
so you
can't
can't
see
see
what's in the
inside?
garage. It's regular glass, but it's just, it has that frosting, so you can't see what's inside.
Tempered is the stuff that doesn't,
Tempered is,
is that the stuff
it's,
that
it's
like
not,
balls when it
you can
breaks?
still break it, but if it breaks, it'll break into little
Right,
tiny
right.
BBs. And laminated glass is more like your car windshield, where if somebody tries to break it, it'll just crack, probably, it won't shatter.
How often have we had issues with the windows there, Roger?
It was just this once.
This is one
This is the only time.
What type of glass was it?
I think it was just regular glass.
Just do regular.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
fine, but,
Just do regular. Yeah.
so we have two windows there, so to fill in the blank on the motion, it would be $1,500
Well, that's for the,
for the
yes,
windows. And then the 1985 is for the, to finish the soffit and fascia.
So, here's something that we need to think about, because we have, what, 46,000 in the cemetery fund. Now, that hasn't fluctuated much since we took control over the cemetery, but stuff like this is gonna eat away at that. So we just gotta keep it in the back of our minds.
what was our total in the fund?
I think it's 46, 40, oh, you have yours there?
The total in the cemetery fund?
Yeah, I think it's like 46.
45.
It's like 40, it's been right around 45. You have 45, 198.
So, I mean, it's just something to keep in the back of our minds.
For sure.
The only thing about doing this to the garage, it's once and done.
Exactly,
So, you know,
exactly.
we don't
Yeah,
have that.
yeah, because really,
not like
these
a
are
constant problem.
really pretty much the only expenses we've had for the cemetery.
Yes.
Well, except for the fact that we mow it.
Yeah.
And Kiefer's gonna be doing it?
Yes.
Yeah, then you're,
Okay.
The only other thing we need to do there is, the
Open.
man door is locked. And we have no idea where the key is. So we're going to, somehow,
Yeah,
we have no idea. So we're gonna have to get somebody to open it for us. We're gonna try to do that in-house first, but, and then put a new lock set on it, but.
Break the window out and climb in. Or you can replace the window.
Okay. Oh, did somebody make a motion?
Is everybody okay? Is there a consensus for the plain windows,
Your basic window.
basic window? Everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so, suggested motion is to approve the proposal of Kiefer Roofing in the amount of $1,985 to replace the soffit and fascia, and $1,500 for the replacement of 2 windows on the garage building located at the Palmyra Cemetery. These items shall be expensed from budget line item 31.441.373, maintenance buildings of the cemetery fund.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Parks, really nothing to mention there. Refuse and recycling, unless you've got
I
something.
have a question for the parks real fast. I know you said something last time when I asked you about it, but I just, wanna kinda ask again, just to make sure. So the parking you said would be 2 parking spots over at that Mayor's Park, right?
There's room
2.
for 2, maybe 3.
And is that more on the Dairy Township side, would you say, or more like on our
Well,
side?
well, no, it would just be on the lot that we had. Like, if you're driving down North Avenue, where
Right.
it takes a 90-degree turn to
Yeah.
the right, it would just be a lane straight in there, and then there would be whatever room for parking spaces right there. at the
That's
top.
borough.
That's in the borough.
Yep, okay. And then also that lot there, we're only gonna be able to do half of it, of course, because Dauphin County owns the other half.
Right, yeah.
Okay. Have they said anything to us like they're, no?
No, I had, oh, man, it was many months ago, I reached out to them to see if they'd be interested in doing anything there, like,
Yeah, like,
collectively, like, to make it more of a park, and
Those
they-
parcels are privately owned.
some of the parcels are owned still.
oh, okay.
The people who
And
own
I
those,
didn't realize that at the time, because Dairy Township, once that intersection improvement project was done, they had always mowed all those properties.
Right.
And then I think they finally realized that they retained the uneconomic remnant, and they're responsible for the maintenance then. So Dairy just all of a sudden stopped maintaining it, so,
Gotcha, okay.
that's why,
that's how-
Had some people complain about that,
yes.
and then we had to remind them that's them, not us.
Yes.
that's why you'll see one lot mowed, one not, the next one mowed.
It's a weird quarter.
It is.
Yeah. No, that's all I have. I was just curious still about the parking, how that really looks. I do think we need something there, like a sign or something, you know, and if we can get grants and, you know, not taxpayers, I think that's good. But just the parking, how that would really work and how many, like if we can get a couple, that would be good. It's just such a busy area.
It's just a concept plan at this point, so they haven't
Right.
really done any true engineering or anything like that. So
I
that
gotcha.
still has to be determined yet, but
Makes sense.
we think there's room for at least 3 spaces there.
All right, thanks.
Good. Good. Okay. Refuge and recycling.
Nothing notable there. Sewer system, pump station 3, Ritu is still working on the design. We got 2 pages of questions that Mike sent us today to respond back to them, to keep moving them along. We're still waiting to hear from DEP on the water quality management permit, so it's a good time to do that. The Colonial Craft Kitchen sewer grinder pump, the pumps we just picked them up, so we just have to arrange installation now, so we'll probably enlist the help of Jason Heisey on that for the electric part. So hopefully we'll do that in the next week or 2. Sinkholes, fortunately, we have not had anything new. I probably shouldn't have just said that, but.
Yeah.
I've heard nothing from PennDOT on the situation at the North Grant Street Bridge. Custer Excavating has not come back to address, there's been a minor sinkhole open again in the 900 block of East Cherry Street, the detention basin there, right where the repair was made before, so. Elijah did tell us today that there was some 1 calls issued for there, so I guess Jack's getting ready to come back here soon, so that should be taken care of here shortly. And then that little sinkhole on North Railroad Street, I don't know what PennDOT's doing with that either. I've reached out to them a couple times, and I guess they put cold patch in it every now and then, but they have yet to do a permanent repair, so I don't know what their plans are there. So just keep it on the old street. They don't care. They don't care.
And then they'll worry about it.
That takes us to stormwater management. East Ridge Road, we finally got some feedback from PennDOT on that pipe situation up there. And of course, it's not good news. They admit they have no easements for the cross pipe that's existing, which is probably why they don't want the cross pipe moved, because if the cross pipe is moved anywhere, then they would have to acquire easements. So they are okay if we do move it, but we've discussed with all the property owners, they're not in favor, so we're not gonna be able to move it anywhere. So they will not let us abandon it in place, so basically where we're at is, and what Mike Nouse wanted to know is, we're basically back to, of all the options that we had come up with, I think there was 7 of them, we're basically back to, will the property owners allow us, grant us an easement to take the pipe south and then west in that east-west alley to North Lincoln Street? Or if they do not, I'm sure I know the answer to this, but council does have the option to do eminent domain to establish the easement so we can put the pipe underground there. But so he just wanted to know if there was any ability to do that or not. Because if not, then we're pretty much, it's up to the property owners to decide if they want to do that. I did reach out to our rep's office, Representative Diamond's office. They kind of said they've seen this in the past, and then until somebody like files a civil case or something against PennDOT in a case like this, that it's probably going to continue happening. So that would be something else for the property owners to consider. But basically, as far as our deal with the builder, at this point, unless you want to force something done there, I would have them pay our park and rec fees, and that's that. So.
Okay, so here's a question. What would happen if we would do something like that and not get the easements?
Well, we couldn't.
So how can PennDOT do it?
Well, because it was done back in the day when they just did stuff. And that's why they don't want anything done with it, because if it's moved or upgraded or anything, then you gotta comply with today's standards, so they're not gonna wanna do that. So that was their response.
All the way around the circle.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, right back where we started.
Yeah, but this has been.
How many years? Yeah,
No,
a year. It's been over a year.
going
yeah.
around and around and around.
The other one that's not on this list, but just an update, the new detention basin back by the Palmyra Business Center on the south side of the railroad tracks, there was some erosion there, and Kinsley came back and fixed it, and that the grass is already regrowing and everything, so that's going pretty good. So they've been very responsive to that job. Street and alley maintenance, we really haven't had much of a chance to do much of that, since the guys are just trying to keep up with the mowing at this point. And I don't have anything else for traffic signals or other, as far as public works.
Roger, West Main and Mark Street.
Yeah, 8B.
Yeah, they haven't determined a repair, what they want to do to repair yet. Mike's gonna try to ramp that up. He's been real busy with some paving projects, overseeing that stuff. So hopefully he's gonna have some time to wrap his head around that. We're kind of thinking that the only thing, because it's not a standard system,
It's not a standard box
it's
at all.
old, and we're kind of thinking if somebody can get in there and jack those caps up off that, so that they can clean everything out and grout it, put mastic down, and then set it back down, and repair the one of the
Lateral.
that would be the way to go. But he hasn't made a final decision on that, or found anybody that says, yeah, we can do this for this much money. So So he has to determine how we want to repair it, the best way to repair it, and then we got to put a cost to it, so, and see where we go from there, so.
Especially now with Clear Springs Bridge being shut down, we're gonna be getting
Yes.
more truck traffic up through there too.
And on Railroad. Railroad's busy in the morning. I know the street and alley maintenance is backed up, I know that, but just to put on your radar, the, it's South Ave, I don't know what the alley is behind the filling station.
That's South Avenue.
South
Yep.
Avenue. Right at the filling station parking lot, there is a huge, huge. And then if you turn left out of their parking lot and go down to Mark, right at the intersection at Mark in that alley as well, there's 2, 3 potholes. It's really getting chewed up from all the
Okay.
diverted traffic because of people going through that alley instead of turning on Mark. They're cutting through filling station parking lot and then using the alley.
Okay. Hopefully when Tyler gets back from CDL school, we'll be able to do some of that kind of work
The
again.
one at the filling station parking lot is bad.
Okay.
It's a pool of water right now. Okay, solicitor's report.
The only thing you had from her was the 2 letters that she drafted in regards to the electronic skill games.
Just a reminder, read that one we got tonight for the 27th. Zoning and codes enforcement. Everybody should have, I got 2 in my packet, so who's missing one?
I got 2 as well.
Anybody
missing one?
missing theirs?
I don't know.
Well, they're just gifts.
I need a new rubber finger.
Okay.
I didn't get any, so I was sharing.
That would be me.
Maybe Bruno's missing one. I don't know. Anyway, everybody should have the report. Any questions on that? Okay. Thank Bill for his report. Zoning Hearing Board, results of hearing conducted on Monday, May 12th.
Yep, they met last night. The application was, the special exception was granted with a couple conditions. One was that they had to give us a copy of the lease. They have a 5-year lease for that unit, and they already emailed that to me this morning. And they also are supposed to give us the list of responsible parties for like who's running the place, who's the emergency contact, things like that. I didn't get that yet, but, so. According to the testimony, the guy was explaining that it's not necessarily the machine itself, but it's the software that drives the machines is what's legal or illegal. So that's what they were talking about. Because we asked the zoning hearing board if they would consider placing conditions, because one of the conditions would have been to restrict the type of machines or whatever. And the new zoning hearing board solicitor is pretty sharp. They liked him a lot after the meeting. They said, we like him, good find. So he recommended them that they not do that. So that's why that wasn't one of the conditions. So.
Okay, so that brings up. Okay, yeah, I know, just thinking. Okay. Have you gotten the list of responsible parties yet?
No.
No, okay. Okay. All right, that takes us to Borough Manager's report.
I can't think of anything else that we didn't already discuss.
Do we have anything for Roger? Oh, wait, we're getting there. Communications, none. Other business? Chief, Mayor,
Nope, good.
Marcus?
I'd like to say happy birthday to our zoning board president, Mr. Kelly. And also, Roger, if you could thank North Londonderry Township for the loaning of the equipment.
Oh, yeah, we already have, yeah. It was awesome.
Okay. Roger, Brenda? All right, that takes us to public comment period number 2. Please step to the microphone, state your name and address for the record, and try to limit your comments to 3 minutes.
William Siders, 333 East Main Street. And my other ones is, what's going on with the streetlights? We're paying for those streetlights, and we're getting something, we're not getting nothing for what we're paying for. Our taxes are being taken from us for street and protection of our communities, and there's nothing being done. And your next sinkhole is gonna be right at the corner of Babes there. You're running all that water down on Harrison Street. You're causing dips in my yard and other yards around there, and that, right where Babes is at, and that apartment building next to it that Dane owns, there's a giant sinkhole there, and I stepped in the other day and went down into my hip. And I threw a cinder block in it so nobody else steps in it. But if you go out and look from the curb and stuff out there, you can see the street starting to show signs. So that's gonna be our next place to fall in right there. Wow. And what's being done, I heard you talk to someone about where the metal plates are up there. There's people that do shotcrete that could probably pump that back up for you if you got them in there. Thank you.
Patty Reed, 233 East Hazel Street. This is gonna seem minor to a lot of people, but I get so sick of going north on Railroad Street and seeing Bengal kittens for sale around that directional sign. They must be grown up by now. I mean, it's ridiculous. There's the same sign down at the corner of Duke and Main Street, the same thing, Bengal kittens for sale. I wanna know, I personally would like to go get rid of it. I don't know if legally I can. If I can go on somebody else's property and take the sign down.
Yeah.
So would I need permission from Mr. Brinzer? I guess he still owns that building, I don't know.
Is that the sign that's like attached right to the street sign post that's there? Because I stopped and looked at that the one day they removed it, and it was zip tied, so I couldn't remove it. I didn't have a cutters with me. We can remove, they're off
I was
premise.
gonna say, if they're on a street sign,
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, they're off premise signs, so they're not permitted, so we can get rid of them.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, the flags that are outside the municipal building and at the square, who pays for those?
Well, we budget for flag replacement.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think the trees down at the square should start to be trimmed again, so you
Yep.
don't have to buy a new flag there. I'm definitely against putting a park at the Lingle Avenue corner. I don't see the point. I really don't. To me, who's gonna sit there? I just don't get it. If you're doing it because of Fred was more dedicated to military than anything else. He was big in putting all those flags up there at Memorial Park. Can't you put something up there dedicated to him, as opposed to putting a whole new park in? I don't know what you were gonna name it, if it was gonna be Fred's name on it, or Mayor Park, or whatever it was gonna be. I just don't see the point of having a park. I think you have to learn to take care of what you already have, not start something new. And one thing would be that Memorial Park. Both those structures up there need painted badly. I mean, yeah, somebody covered up the graffiti with a sort of same color, but it's not. You can see it's different. For one thing, at the flagpole up there, it's nothing but weeds growing up around it. And when the Garden Club had their sale there, I suggested to them that if they wanted a beautification project, they might take on around the flag up there. Whether they're going to or not, I don't know. I don't know. Is there Bowman money still in existence? Okay, so Bowman money could be used for beautification of cutting down trees at the square. Or maybe they could take care of something up there at that flag. It's ugly.
What,
So, I guess that's about what I have to say. I just hope that you really think about taking care of what you already have. I saw weeds growing up at the square in that part, so even if we don't have enough people on maintenance, years ago, my grandson did all the mowing by himself. You could have one mower and have that extra person doing other things as far as cleaning up. Thank you.
thank you.
May I make one quick comment? If you notice on Main Street now, these people aren't aware of not stapling signs on the telephone poles. We've got signs stapled on Grant Street, I see them down at CVS, they're stapling signs all over.
Mr. Zeiders, in reference to your streetlights comment, when you made that comment the last time you were here, we advised you to call Med Ed, as we do.
I did call Med Ed, and I told
Okay.
them if they don't wanna fix the light, take the pole off my
No.
property.
No, you need to call them with the number that's on that plate of the lights that are
I
out.
called them with 7 numbers, and nothing's been done.
Okay, you need to keep calling them like we do. That's the only way it's gonna get fixed. That's what we told you last time.
I'd like to have my taxes revised because I'm lacking security with no light.
You'll be able to know that on Friday afternoon, the next morning at 7:30, he was out fixing it.
Well, they won't come to Main Street because they say they need a whole crew.
The excuse is they need traffic control on the main streets.
Right.
So they try to batch them for when they have a traffic control unit with them.
Is there anything that we could do, like have Public Works do the traffic control?
We have 3 guys.
Yeah, I'm just thinking,
I know.
you know,
It's been 2 years.
yeah.
We could try. Anybody else for public comment? Yes. It is the time, yes, go ahead.
And the plate.
We just need your name and address, okay?
Miller, 757 North Lincoln Street.
Okay.
I'd gotten behind on my, some of my utilities, and I lost my job and couldn't find one and all that stuff. So I finally found a job now, and I'm able to catch these up. I would like to know how I can, I have a plan of how I want to do that, but I need to ask you guys if that's an okay plan and if that's what I can do.
Yeah, we can do that.
Just to bring you up to date on this,
Got in trouble with this before.
what's that?
Got in trouble with this
Yes,
before.
well, I just want to fill you in. At this point, Ms. Miller's balance is $4,058.92. She bought the property in 2014, and in 2016, we sent out the first lien notice. So she'd had it like a year and a half before we started to do that. We've had 3 payment plans, one in February of 2020 that she signed and did not live up to. We had one in November of 2021 that she signed and did not live up to. And we had one in February of 2024 and did not live up to. So at this point, we have advised her that we will not make another payment plan with her, that the balance is due. This is one of the properties that you had sent for writ. So at this point, I advise Ms. Miller to come to council to talk to you all because I don't have anything else in my toolbox to help her. So, if you all want to make an agreement with her, that's between you and her, but as your staff members, we're recommending no.
Did those 2 agreements that she signed, did we like follow up or something and find out like why they didn't follow through and like what happened during that time, or?
Well, yes, we knew that Ms. Miller was not working, that she was a part-time unemployment at the time. And we actually, myself and Stacy Ale, met with her in the office here to discuss the 2021 plan. Actually, it was 2022.
So this was,
So-
I'm assuming you probably lost your job around COVID, right? Yeah.
And at this point, we're not exactly sure she's living in the property. Her daughter Christy is living in the property.
Well-
The last time I talked to Ms. Miller, she was actually staying in Maryland, so it could be, I mean, we have no proof that she's not, and we have no proof that she is living in the property, but she did admit that her daughter is living, and if the daughter's living and she is not, it now becomes a rental. Of course, no cost because it's family, but it needs to be registered.
Well, it's a family member. I mean, it's a family member, so.
But we still require a registration.
No, listen, past since 2019 and then 2020 with COVID, there's been a lot of tough times, and especially now with the economy and with a lot of stuff going on in the federal round, and then how it comes down to us. And then also with our tax increases that's been going on. So I'm willing to work with you. I understand things might not have panned out then because you weren't working. I think I would just want to see some type of like, what type of job you're working and what type of idea do you have for like a payment plan? Like, are you looking to do it in increments of how much type of thing? And then also what type, and if we can, discuss it at some, they want to know too, but like, is your employment the same or different? You said now you're working, is it part-time still, like she mentioned, or full-time? Full-time? And what were your ideas with how you would wanted to, like, pay that back?
I'd like to do it in, the total is $4,000. We made a $500 payment already. I would like to make another, I have 300 tonight that I can. And, on 5/16, when I get paid, Christy, my daughter, is going to pay $1,600. Then on 6/11, I'll get a Social Security check, and I'm gonna pay the last $1,600.
That works with me. My job is not to hurt the residents, and I understand there's been tough times. I've even that's happened to me before too with COVID. And if you're coming to us and you have this plan, and I just want to make sure it gets executed. But that's my thoughts. They all have thoughts
I'm
too,
with
of
you.
course.
I would like that idea too.
And I appreciate you coming with a game plan and just asking for it, because that means something. Yeah, if you follow through that game plan and you pay that tonight, I'm fine, with working with the residents, of course.
I will definitely, I'm not gonna let you guys down again. I will definitely live up to this.
So what were the reasons the other three were not followed through on?
It was just, I lost my job, I got a part-time job, I wasn't making hardly any money.
Believe me, I can sympathize with that. But I'm concerned that there's three other ones and there's no guarantee that we will see it.
Well, here's the thing, the other three, one was for, the one in 2020 was for $25 a month. The one in 2021 was for $100 monthly.
But if she
and-
lost her job and was working part-time, that
But
$25
this-
needs
she-
to go for
No,
toothpaste
no, wait a
or
minute,
soap or
Counselor,
something.
Counselor,
I'm just
these
saying.
were her agreements, this was the amount that she told us she would be paying.
No, I understand, but I'm trying to talk
My
about the other
recommendation
side.
to council, if you are actually seriously considering this, is I would not stop the writ. What we could do is we could postpone the sheriff's sale to the next month after June the 11th, if it's not paid.
When does our next, when does the next current bill come out?
July 1st.
Oh, July 1st, okay.
And she should have it paid all by then, right?
We can advise our solicitor
idea.
that we can hold until June the 11th. She has been served. We don't have to send it to the next sheriff's sale. We can hold it until the following sheriff's sale, which would be, I believe, August. So if this agreement is not met,
Yeah, so if she follows through on her agreement,
then we're fine. Then we can
Fine,
pull it from the
right.
sheriff's sale. But I would want this in writing, and I'd want your signature on it. So we'll expect you in the office tomorrow, if council's in agreement with that.
I think if we're gonna do this, a condition of it would be one missed payment. It's automatically
And
going,
it's back.
automatically back this sale.
Well, she's gonna put, yeah, I don't think there will be, and I appreciate you coming a lot, so thank you.
Do you need a motion?
No, I have directive.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't need an official motion for that. You all have given your
Are we
consensus.
all in consensus with that?
Yeah.
Jane?
This came back to bite us in the ass
Yes, it
before.
did. Yes, it did. And that is your most delinquent account.
Yeah.
Well, if it doesn't happen, and then unfortunately then in July, then
I
that
feel
would
better
happen.
that we wouldn't have stopped
yeah, don't
what
stop
we've
the
already done.
process.
So that makes me feel better, and believe me, I do sympathize. I get it.
No, collecting is not easy. I know I sit up here and I sound like I'm heartless, but you all have given us a directive to collect the delinquent accounts.
Well,
So, we have to.
and my issue is that everybody else in this, not everybody
Paying.
else in this borough, but the majority of people in this borough are paying. And it's not fair to them either, so.
Yeah, no, I get that.
But I do
when
have
there are-
sympathy because I was out of work for 5 weeks. I get it.
And especially you came tonight and you talked with us and, back, 2019, 20, 2021, even right now, like I said, there's some tough times going on in the economy. And so I appreciate that. I just, really hope that there's a follow through and it gets done because I would hate to see July come and then, that has to happen. So,
I'm more comfortable if we keep the proceedings the way they are, so, and I like Marcus's idea of no missed payments.
So we'll see you tomorrow. Will you be in the office tomorrow? Okay, we'll make this agreement formal, and then, we'll go from there. Thank you for coming tonight, because I'm the one that advised you to do, and it's tough to stand up here and talk to them,
I do
in this
respect
public
that.
forum.
That I totally respect.
thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Any other public comment? Okay. All right, closing public comment period number 2. Borough Council will conduct its next public meetings on Tuesday, May 27th, 2025, and Tuesday, June 10th, 2025, beginning at 7 PM. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
We are adjourned.
Hey, Chief, next time we're shooting.
Okay. I have it on my board.
There's a second reminder.
I have it on my